Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Clayton Gonsalves with Go Analytics, and today we're doing a complete overview of Power Query. So let's go. Hey, welcome to our channel. If you're finding us for the first time, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click on the notifications to stay up to date on all of our videos. All right, so today we're talking about Power Query. What is it? Well, it's a data transformation and a data preparation engine. It was first introduced inside of Excel, and then eventually Microsoft, seeing its popularity, decided to spin it off into a whole new product, which is what we call Power BI today. It offers a graphical interface for you to connect to and transform your data, and it can help you with very simple extract, transform, and load processes, although it's not really meant for heavy lifting ETL processes. You'd rather save that for your programming languages. But the graphical interface is really cool because you can just click on things and transform your data without actually having to know any lines of code. But if you're a little bit advanced and you're trying to do something a little bit more complex, it does also allow you to click on the advanced editor and open up the language, which in this case is the M language, and you can code things in there without using the graphical interface. So today we're taking a look at Power Query, and we're going to do a complete overview of it. So let's head on over to my laptop and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so here we are inside of Power BI desktop, and I've already loaded some data in here, some HR data. So let's take a look at how we fire up Power Query for the first time here. So we'll click on Transform Data, and this opens up a whole new window here, which is the Power Query editor. And you can see up here that this is the Power Query editor. And once you open this up, you'll notice a few things here. One is that the ribbon is very similar to all of the Microsoft products. So you'll be very familiar if you're already used to using Word or Excel, that there's the ribbon, there are the tabs up here that you can navigate to. But then the main window here is split into three different things. The first on the left here is the queries pane, and this would show you all of your data queries. So anytime that you're adding new data into this file, it's going to show up here as a new query. On the bulk of the window here is a preview of your data, which allows you to actually interact with it and see what that looks like to make sure that you've loaded the correct data. And then on the right hand side here, you have the query settings, so you can rename your queries and you can view all of the applied steps. So every time that you transform this data here, a new step is going to be created here, and you can navigate through those steps by clicking on them. On the very bottom of the screen, it'll tell you a little bit about your data, so how many columns there are and how many rows are in this data set. But notice that right here it says that the column is profiling based on the top 1,000 rows. So this is not may not be a complete picture, especially when you're trying to understand the distribution of your data inside of Power Query, although you can change this to profile based on the entire data set. All right, so let's take a look at the Home tab. So on the Home tab, you have things such as the Close and Apply button that allows you to close this and apply any steps that you've done to this data set, and then it would take you back to Power BI desktop. You have a new query section here that allows you to connect to new data, connect to recent data sources, or manually type in some data in here. Under the data sources section, you have a data source settings. So this allows you to change the data source if your data has moved locations. You have managing parameters here, which is something a little bit more advanced, and you can explore this once you get a little bit more advanced. We can refresh the preview for our query here, and we can refresh only this specific one, or we can refresh all of them. In this case, we only have one query, so this would be the same. But if you had multiple queries, you can refresh them individually. It also gives you the options of taking a look at your query properties, and this is where you would fire up that advanced editor, which allows you to actually see the code behind what's happening in the graphical interface. So as you can see here, I've just loaded this data. I haven't applied any real steps to it. Under the manage columns, you have the ability to go to a different column or choose which columns you want to keep in this query. You have the ability to remove columns as well. And then under the reduce rows section, you have the ability to keep only certain rows or remove certain rows. You also have the ability here to sort your data from A to Z or from Z to A. Under the transform section in the home tab, you have some very quick transformations that you can do to your data, like splitting a column, grouping it by some variable. You can replace values inside of a column, and you can double check the data type and change the data type as needed. Under the combine section here, we have the ability to merge queries together or append queries together. So merging would be similar to a VLOOKUP in Excel, and appending queries would mean we're basically stacking queries on top of each other. If we hover over to the transform tab, we're able to do a little bit more transformations to our data. So under the table section here, we're able to group our data. We can say to use the first row as a header. We can transpose, reverse rows, and count rows as well. Under the any column section here, we're able to double check what the data type is and change the data type. We can detect what the data type is if it's undefined. We can rename our columns. We can replace values inside of our columns. We can fill data up or down. So if we had blank rows here that we needed filled in, we could use that. For example, right here, I have the title of a person and the rows above it are null. So if I wanted to fill these rows with the same value as this one, I could use the fill up and that would fill it. We can pivot columns, which is something a little bit more advanced, similar to unpivot columns, and we'll cover this in a later video. And we can move columns around. Similarly, we can convert a column to a list. This is useful when you're doing something a little bit more advanced, and we'll cover something like that in a later video. Under the text column, we're able to take a column that is a text data type. So for example, our first name of our employees here is a text column. So we would be able to split this column by a delimiter or by the position, number of characters. There's a lot of different options in here. We can also format this column. So we can make it all lowercase, uppercase. We can capitalize each word, and we can trim, which would mean to remove any leading or trailing blank spaces, and we can clean it up by removing any non-printable characters. And we can extract information from these columns, such as the length of the value inside of a column, the first n characters or the last n characters, text before delimiter or after a delimiter, and so on. Under the number column section, this would apply to a number column. In our case here, we do have a number column. So in here, we can apply transformations such as statistics to get the sum, maximum, minimum, averages, and so on. We can also apply standard addition, multiplication, subtraction. So if we had two number columns, we could subtract their values. And there's some more scientific stuff here, as well as trigonometry, such as sine, cosine. We can also adjust the rounding in here, so we can round it up or down. Finally, under our date and time column here, we have the ability to extract different components from the date or from a time, such as the month, or the time, or a duration of an event. In this data set, I don't have any date columns in here, so that's why it's all grayed out and I'm not able to click on anything here. Under scripts, it shows that you can run an R script or a Python script, so you can run with these programming languages to do all of your transformation inside of Power Query. And now let's explore the Add Column tab here. So when we click Add Column, we have some general columns that we can add here. We can add columns from example, and this would be Power BI will automatically try to detect how we want to create this column, and it'll create the formula for us. We can create a custom column by typing in some M code and getting a value based on the columns that we have here. And we have conditional columns here. We can add an index column, as well as we can duplicate columns here. Something more advanced is invoking a custom function. So if you can program a function inside of Power Query and run that to create a new column. We can create a new column from a text column. This would be similar to the transformations that you can apply, such as extracting the text before a delimiter, but in this case it would create a new column. Similarly, from number, you can extract certain things from a number, such as the addition or the multiplication from it. And the from date and time, it would create a column. So if we had a date column and we extracted the month from that, it would create a new column. Whereas if we're doing the same thing inside of transform, it would just replace that column. Under the View tab here, we have the ability to toggle certain things to be able to actually understand our data. So we can take a look at our column profile and toggle that off or on, which would tell us some information about the column. We have the column distribution, which allows us to see how our data is distributed. And we can also see the column quality, which tells us how much of our data is valid, how much of it is empty, and how many errors are there. Finally, we can also open the advanced editor from this tab as well, which is just Microsoft's way of allowing you to do the same thing in multiple ways. Now, if you want to do all of your transformations by going to the Transform tab, that's perfectly fine. But there are also some transformations that you can do directly from this view right here. So if we're replacing, renaming a column, it's very easy to just do that here by double clicking on the header. We can also change our data types by interacting with the little icon on the column header here. So I can change this from a number column to a text column. And notice as I'm transforming this data, new steps are getting applied here on our applied steps. You can also do transformations by right-clicking on a column, and it'll allow you to copy, remove this column, change the data type, split this column, group by it, fill, unpivot. So a lot of the things that we can do from the Transform tab is available here just by right-clicking and selecting it. And again, this is just Microsoft's way of allowing users to do the same thing in multiple different ways. You can also right-click on your queries, and this will give you some options about your query. So you can delete a query from here or rename it from here as well. You can duplicate a query and reference a query. We'll get into the differences between those two in a later video. And you can create a function from here, as well as see the query properties or launch the advanced editor right from here. You can also enable the load of this data into the data model or disable it. So if we click on it, then it'll disable the load. And that means that once I click close and apply here, this data is not going to be in Power BI Desktop, although it can be used inside of Power Query to help with some other queries. And you can also disable or enable include in report refresh. So this means that every time that you refresh this report, this data will get refreshed as well. If you have some static data that's never going to change, you can simply uncheck this box and it will make your report run a lot faster because Power BI is not going to try to fetch this data all over again. So that's it. That was an overview of Power Query. I hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.